Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine. Time to talk a little Navy men's swimming and diving right now with Coach Bill Roberts. And let's go back to December for a minute. And, you know, I just want people to kind of get the feel who didn't have a chance to either watch the broadcast or be in attendance, to walk out on the pool deck and to see that environment and to be a part of that. Does that maybe say as much as anything about the culture and the program that you all have built here, to see that and feel that kind of electricity on that pool deck that day as you all competed against Army?
No doubt it's special. I think we've seen a little bit of growth with that past couple times we've hosted the meet. And, we never expect it, but when something like that happens, it's hard to describe how awesome it was. I know that, it's a great feeling for the midshipmen. It's obviously a great feeling for us. And to know that most of the people in the stands are from Navy and, are probably coming from within the gates of the Naval Academy. It means a lot. It's great respect.
For at the same time as a coach, sometimes competitors can get too hyped up, too excited, maybe even in an environment like that. The fact that your kids are able to compartmentalize and be able to decompress all of that and focus on the task at hand, what are keys in your mind to them being able to do that as consistently as they have been able to do that?
Yeah, we just try to break it down. I think, just like you hear in a lot of walks of life, everybody's got a certain job. And so, just in this case, it's event by event. And so I don't know if you noticed, but one thing that we do that's kind of special, like if you watch Duke basketball, anytime there's a timeout or whatever, the 5 players in the court huddle. And we've kind of adopted that in the pool as well. So before each event, the athletes, there's either 4 or 5 athletes up there and they're huddled just for, 30, 45 seconds max. And I think it's a pretty important moment for them in that setting that you described, Pete, to, be able to just, hey, all right, we've got this mass environment going on. We've got great competition, but we still, let's make it about us.
For you all as a team, I think, and by their performance, they had earned the respect. I mean, there was thought that, Army was going to be very competitive in that meet. The fact that, from the first event, your kids took control of that, set the tone right away. How important was it to do that? And the fact that, through the years, your athletes have consistently done that, have consistently risen to that occasion on that big stage. What does it say about the quality of the athletes and obviously the student athletes you're bringing in here to the Naval Academy?
Yeah, I still think, there's a lot, everybody wants that moment, but you can't assume they're just going to naturally rise to that moment. I think there's a lot of prep that goes into it. We try to make our practices really challenging. We ask them to race and compete and everything in training. And I think that's kind of the foundation for being able to handle those moments. Because, in any sport, it's you just never know until you get there. So, what does it say about the athlete? I think they've got a great ability to trust everything that they've done up until that point and just stand behind the blocks before they get ready to go. I think that those are the moments that can kind of get to people and just be able to just, again, harness what you can control. That's all we really can do. And if we just focus on getting better and swimming fast or diving well, typically it should work out.
When we look at the size of the roster, and we know in coaching, not every athlete is the same. The fact that each year the bar seems to get set higher and higher, the expectations are there from the moment a plebe arrives on campus to be a part of the program. Through the years, what have you done to keep things maybe fresh for you as a coach and try maybe some change of techniques? Because as we know, every athlete is different and you have to coach an awful lot of them.
Great question. I've just tried to adopt kind of a learning mentality. Nothing new or groundbreaking, but I think you hear a lot about that with leadership and success and coaching and everything, and just being open to just learning new stuff. So I really have just tried to make sure I go into each season with a lot of stuff that's fairly new or borrowed from another program, and I keep a pretty good file, from the off season to the next season. And I found that's really helped me, like with what you're saying, Pete. And also, I think the other half of the equation is just really engaging with the athletes. You just got to be able to put a lot of time in with communication and everything, and just try to find out what it is that they're looking for, what they envision with their career, and then just trying to you know design what you believe in, and get those two to match up. And that's kind of the challenge.
We talk about it. Coaches talk about it all the time about good teams talk about how competitive their practices are, and I would imagine the same thing is in the pool for you, because from talking to your athletes after the Army meet, they talk about how the quality of those practices, in a sense, prepare them maybe sometimes even better than a meet environment for them. How important is that quality to what you all are trying to accomplish?
Well, from day one, since I got hired here, we've just tried to implement that in everything we do. And it doesn't have to always be get up on the blocks and all out, but just every single set, every single thing that we do each day has got to have some type of competitive flair to it. And I think the great thing about our sport is everybody in the pool can be the best on the team at least one thing. So always just trying to be, hey, figure out what are you the best at, and just really develop those strengths.
It's been the key for your captains through the years, because they're part of that leadership process with you and trying to, manage the entire room, especially with their fellow seniors. But, what has it been about many of those captains that has allowed you to obviously carry on this run of success and give you all a chance to accomplish your goals every year?
Very blessed. Going back all through the years, I feel like I always have multiple people who could be a great team captain on the team. So only one gets elected. One thing that the Naval Academy and NAAA has done a great job with is the Gettysburg Leadership Program. I've noticed a big difference since they got that going. I just feel like it really gets their mind, thinking about, hey, what does it mean to be a great team captain? Not just figure it out as you go. So that's been very helpful. And then also, I think, before that and now, we sit down with I typically actually meet with the firsties as a whole. I used to meet with just the captain, but I think I found that to be beneficial, because it gets everybody on the same page.
Finally, to have a guy like Rowdy Gaines want to come here on a consistent basis, third year that he and I got to broadcast that meet, to see his interaction with your athletes, to see their genuine joy, to see him, but to see it reciprocated, maybe even twofold back the other way. I'm just so struck by his enthusiasm for the athletes in the pool. I know he was so honored that his alma mater, Auburn, got to swim here this year as well. Just to see that, and to have your program be recognized by one of America's greatest in the pool, what does that mean?
Well, first, it's pretty awesome to have both of you together.
No, believe me. He's the guy. He's the guy, I'm telling you.
But I think the coolest thing is, our guys, they're cutting the corner to go up to the blocks, and it's you and Rowdy right there.
Yeah.
And, as you mentioned, Rowdy is a voice that certainly this summer, and any time there's a televised swimming event, you typically hear his voice. This summer, Olympic year, he's going to be the guy calling the meet, him and most likely Dan Hicks.
Right.
And so they are, cutting the corner going up to their event, and he's right here.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't think of a meet where they get closer than that to the announcer. So it is powerful. But as you mentioned, the kind of the personal, just genuine interest that he has in what takes place, at the academies and with their program and everything, it just means a lot.
Obviously, let me ask you this too: the challenge of having the season up to the Army meet like you do, and now you get back in the pool and really have another part to your season. What are the challenges that lie ahead now for your team?
Huge challenge. I mean, you come off a meet like that, we've really, I think, gotten better at making sure that that's not, we just hang on after that point.
Sure.
That's a stepping stone, and that takes a lot. It's such a big meet. But we've always thought of ourselves as a championship style program. We want to do our best work in February and March, and with expectations on getting to NC2As and this year Olympic trials. So we've talked about it a lot, and there's been really good buy-in with the guys. So I felt like we came off that meet as well as we ever have.
All right. Appreciate the time as always. Best of luck with the rest of the season.
My pleasure. Always glad to be here, Pete. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
You got it. Bill Roberts joining us here to talk Navy men's swimming on the Navy Sports Magazine.